Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild and Wingless. Today I got myself Nick. Ryan, how are you today, Nick?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
No problems, man. I've been a massive fan of your racing for a while. Actually, your buggy you've got behind you, the colour codes, I quite like. Um, yeah, and I actually remember seeing you on the SummerSlam tour. What was it a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, a year ago. So finally, I know we've been talking through messages and stuff, but I had to get the show going again. But I appreciate you agreeing to come on. I know you got a tight schedule, especially leading up to the big titles coming up. But no, mate, can you give us a rundown on how you got started in wingless and how you started racing to get to where you are now in wingless?
So Dad's always gone to Speedway since he was young, but it's probably my older brother Billy probably started it all. He when he was about 18 started racing bitumen go-karts, and that was sort of led us into actually doing something ourselves. So I started racing karts when I was 12, and Bill ended up buying a kart business off Corey McCullough. So my first year raced for Corey, and then Bill ended up buying it all. So raced karts for I think 7.5 years, 8 years. Progressed through juniors all the way up to seniors, and ended up in X30, which ended up racing some pretty good cars. Now I think 2 are now V8 supercar drivers. So that was pretty cool. And my younger brother Alex, who's about 12 months younger than me, started racing a junior Formula 500 at 14, I think, 14, 15. He was always going to go Speedway, but I did like the karts. And then eventually karts got a little bit too expensive, and the next step was sort of going towards like a state or national level, and it was just going to be too expensive. So 500s really didn't suit me. They were a bit too follow the leader for me, and I wasn't a big fan. So ended up, one of Mum's friends, her dad had a wingless in Portland, and he was looking to retire. He was a older guy, so he was looking to get out. So we went and had a look at a car and ended up buying that, and been racing that this is my 4th season now.
Yeah, right. So what is it about wingless? Because you said you could have gone. I mean, I know you said follow the leader, but wingless, from all these other racing series you could have done, from karts to here. I mean, it's great that you're here, but what is it about wingless?
Sort of, originally growing up, sort of about 40 minutes out of Warrnambool, we had a bloke named Glenn Watts, former Vic 1 in wingless, grew up in the same town as him. So I've sort of always liked to, I'll watch any class, but the wingless, it's just a bit more affordable, and a lot more even is probably why I like the idea of wingless, whereas 500s tend to be a bit money dominant. If you spend the money, you'll sort of get yourself to the front, and if you can't spend it, you're going to struggle a little bit more. So it's probably more the being able to afford it and make a competitive car a fair bit cheaper.
Yeah, no, you raised a pretty good point there. When you're talking about go-karts, and you left go-karts because of the price, yet you found yourself in wingless. And when you talk to people outside of Speedway and outside of that, I remember I used to tell people we could run 2 race cars on a night at Parramatta back in the day, and that was cheaper than us racing 2 go-karts. And people just didn't believe it, but it's true. Like, these things are very affordable. Like, the initial outlay is, well, you go buy yourself a brand new senior kart now with some sort of decent power plant, you're up around that money anyway. So
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah, you can comfortably buy a car sort of for what you'd pay for a brand new go-kart, and the travelling, and it's long weeks now. Like, our local kart series is now, you're racing half of a Friday, so you got to now be taking time off work just to race a country series. So
Yeah.
the wingless just makes it a lot more
And
easier
also,
and more affordable.
yeah, and that works with speedway in general. We're over and done with on a Friday night, whereas you race tar racing, asphalt or circuit. Yeah, as you said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, no, that's good. Yeah, it's good to see you in wingless. As I said, you definitely have a very presentable car there. I quite like it. Um, now you're coming up to this weekend. You've got the Vic title in virtually your hometown. Yeah, I mean you're very much close enough to being warnable. So, what are your thoughts about the Vic title coming up?
Yeah, it should be good. We had a not too bad run at SummerSlam. Um, we were good early. First heat started out at 2 and won that. So with Blake behind me and sort of about the same pace as him, and we got a little bit of work to do, just sort of how depending on how the track goes, but somewhat confident going in, and we've been pretty good there since I started. Really, it's been sort of one of my good tracks, so it's cool to have it close to home. It's only 15 minutes down the road, so hopefully it's a good night for us.
Yeah, right. How have you gone in previous Vic titles? What's your best result
Uh,
so far?
Vic titles, no good at all.
Don't talk about it. Okay.
I think the first year we went to Nyora, and that was a wake up call because the track's a whole lot different to everything I'd driven on. I think we ran 3 heats that night, and I think I didn't do any better in my heats than like a 6th. Like, we were bad.
Yeah, right.
I think we rolled off like 14th in the B main and threw a funky setup at it and just tried to help me get around it. Just because the corners are a lot tighter than what I was used to, so I think we ended up going from 14th and just making a transfer, and then finally got rolling and went from about last, and I think we were passing for 10th about halfway through the feature, and a crank angle sensor went bad and died about halfway through, so that was a bit disappointing. We'd finally got rolling and car shut off going down the back straight, and then Portland, I think, was my next one, and made a bit of a mistake going for a Hail Mary and got DQ'd from a B main trying to get a transfer
Oh,
on
really?
Tommy Mick. Yeah, I got a good restart and got to a transfer, and then I got shuffled out of the way, so I bombed it up the inside of poor old Tommy McDonald on the last lap and turned him and ended up getting disqualified. That wasn't real flash, but and
Jeez, look
then
out.
Horsham last year tried to go around the top and rode a right rear in a heat race and plugged it in the fence. Put us in a B main, and it was a bit one lane, couldn't do much. So I haven't actually made a Vic title A main since my first year.
Right. Well, hopefully
I've,
this weekend's going to change that.
yeah, hopefully.
And it sounds like you got the monkey off your back with the car problems, and you're firing on all cylinders now. I've been watching the results this year.
Yeah, we've finally figured out after 18 months of issues, we've figured out all our problems, and we've had a pretty solid year so far this year. So going in sort of somewhat confident and hoping for a good result.
Nice, nice. And then you've got another big race coming up too after that, which is the Australian title over in Perth Motorplex if everything goes well. What are your thoughts
Yeah,
about racing over there?
I'm very keen to head over. The joint sort of looks like it might sort of work with how I like to drive, but the racing over there just looks incredible. The cars present immaculate. They are some of the best presented cars. They're some of them look better than some sprint cars. Like, they're just incredible. So yeah, keen to head over there and do the sort of weaker racing they've got over there, providing the fuel prices don't go up. But
Yeah. Well,
um,
hopefully you have a better run over there than what you had at Mildura last year.
yeah, no, that one was. We should have stayed home at that one.
Oh God, I know what it feels like, mate. I've been there too. Hey, so what's been your highlight this season?
Probably we haven't had probably the best of highlights, but we've just sort of been consistent, sort of top fives, top tens. Probably the top ran in fifth at SummerSlam at Simpson. That was probably a good one. We were sort of spent the whole time following Tyson and just sort of followed him through the pack a little bit, and that's probably the main one that stands out.
Yeah. No, that's good. We'll keep that momentum going. So what is your favourite track? Is it Simpson or Warrnambool? I'm going to lean to Simpson, I reckon,
It's probably a
or neither.
bit of a toss up. Probably Simpsons got Premier by a little bit.
Really?
Simpsons just everyone seems to say it, and it's either you love it or you hate it. But that joint is on the fence. It is so fun. You cannot get a better racetrack. There's sliders. There's normally 2 lanes. You can pound the fence. It's just unreal fun.
So hang on, just slow up there for me. So you're telling me on any given night racing at Simpson, it could go to the fence? Are those track creators just like smashing out of the park every time you guys go there?
Yeah, those ranking guys have got it pretty dialed. Even it's got this magical thing that even if it is a absolute terror dome and rough as guts, if the top's smooth, it'll be fast. You can
Really?
drive around the holes. The only one that was probably the Wow last year at Simpson. They'd had a lot of rain and it was like just locked down around the bottom, but it can get pretty rough at times, and even then you can just drive around the holes, run the top, sort of 3/4 track and make it work. It's a fun joint.
Yeah, right. No, it's good. I mean, I hear a lot about it. I've never been there with a race car, but I remember when I went there to have a look. Yeah, just insane place. What's been your favourite moment in the sport?
I think number one has to be the first feature win. We went to Horsham end of last year after we'd sorted out all our problems. We had a good run at the SA title. Went to Horsham for the Wingless Classic that they run up there every year. We had a handful of good cars up there. Blake Walsh was one, and I think we rolled off about 6th in the feature, and everyone was playing follow the leader around the bottom, and I hate playing follow the leader. I cannot stand it. So I just sort of made a lane for myself mid-track and just dropped back to like 8th, 9th early and just persisted and cleaned it off and finally got rolling, and we picked off cars lap after lap and got to 3rd, and Blake was all over the back of Jaden Locke and just kept at it and persisted and just patient. You had to be patient. Like, it was just that slick. You had to be dancing on the pedals, and just we were able to get around him and to be able to go around the top of the 2-time NT SA1, and he's one of my best mates. So to be able to get around him, that was pretty cool to be able to pass and beat Blake.
Yeah, not many people can say they've done that.
No, not. That's the one thing that makes that first feature win extra special, is to be able to do it on Blake was pretty cool, given how fast he is.
That's incredible. Well done. Well, I mean, moving into, I've got a few questions here for you. Moving into these, I think I know the answers, but I'm going to ask you: you prefer being a wall rider or a gutter rat?
I'll run the fence. If there's anything up there to lean on, I'll run the fence. I hate running the bottom.
I'm just one of those things, like, you run these tracks where it's just one lane, and I know it sucks. I mean, I'm not a driver, but I could just, you're not there to be follow the leader. You know what I mean? And some people just hang in there, but every now and then you see that one guy go, you know what, man, I'm not doing this no more, and they'll jump up top. There might not be something there first lap, second lap, and they might fall back, but at least they gave it a go. So, but yeah, definitely wall riding in Victoria, I think's an art form. I reckon.
Yeah.
What about running the wall at Premier? You reckon you're going to be up for that this weekend if it goes to the wall?
If there's something to lean on, I think we'll be good. sort of struggled there at SummerSlam. It sort of was just slick to the fence, and there wasn't a big curb to lean on. We sort of struggled with the car a little bit, just getting some forward drive. But if there's something to lean on, that's where I'll be bouncing off it, because I've just sort of been comfortable and able to do it since I pretty well started. I've just felt comfortable. Premier's a little bit trickier than somewhere like Simpson because it's a lot faster. You're carrying a lot more speed, but if you can get a car perfect to run the fence at Premier, it's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, right. Okay. So I got to ask you a question, right? But someone asked me this a while back, and I thought this might be a good question to ask. What's one bit of advice that you'd give yourself when you first started? Like, if you could rewind time, go back, what's the one thing you'd tell yourself when you first started in wingless?
Don't actually know, to be honest. There's probably not a.
I give you the questions before we go live, and you don't know. That's all right.
That's the one thing I don't actually really know, because I've felt pretty comfortable for day one, and there's probably not a whole lot I would have changed. We've been reasonably comfortable, and there's nothing probably a whole lot I would have changed since I've started.
Well, I'll go ahead and say maybe change a wiring loom beforehand. There you go.
Yeah, possibly.
All right, what's the one competitor you just have to beat? Who's that? Who is he?
It's got to be Blake.
Blake? Blake. He's just too good.
He's too good, and he's one of my best mates, and it's fun if you can put one up on him, because he's got a lot against my name, so it's always fun when you can put one against him.
No, I like that. That's good. All right, man. Last question for you. What's one rule, if you could, you'd change in the game?
I'd love to see us go to a crate V8.
Nice.
If we could get rid of the V6 and go to a V8, that would be a little bit more power. It'd be great.
Nice. No, I like it. All right, number 7. Why number 7? What's the meaning behind it?
Growing up, always going to Speedway. I always had my one favourite driver, and at the time, everyone else I come across hated him, but he was my one true guy I just love to watch, and that's Robbie Farr in the NQ7. I was the biggest Robbie Farr fan, still am. I hate that he's not racing sprint cars anymore. But yeah, and just always been a big Robbie Farr fan, so ever since day one in karts, I've always been 7.
I'm actually looking at your car over your shoulder there. It looks like the same font 7 as well.
It may be, yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's cool. No, I like that. All right, man. Look, I really appreciate you coming on the show and having a chat to me before you go racing this weekend. But like everything, we got our sponsors, our partners. Who do you want to thank to that helps you get up and down the highway and do what you want to do?
Yeah, I just can't thank all my sponsors enough. My work have pitched in big time this year. I cannot thank Will, Jeanette, and Andrew at Will Ferris Auto Repairs enough. They've been a big supporter. It should be cool. They're coming to watch live for the first time this weekend, so that should be good, hopefully. And just all my other sponsors, Rap and Mix Concrete, Will Carroll, he's a big supporter of ours. Harry Drosty from Drosty Motorsport, he's come on board this year and been a big help. Number 4 Composites, Mitch Size, the carbon kit on that car there. He does great work. K1 Race Gear by Cartworks, my elder brother Billy, he gets me all kitted up with K1, best race gear you can get. Marnie Drilling, Bamstone, and just me mum and me dad, they're the ones towing the car around everywhere. Can't thank them. They're towing the car across to Perth while I go on the plane. So nice. Can't thank them enough. My older brother Bill, he's the reason that car's as fast as it is. Without him, I probably wouldn't be racing anything at all. I never would have probably started. So he's a big part of my racing. So My little brother Alex, he's good support when he can be. He's off doing his own thing. He's racing sprint cars now, but he's always there when he can be. And just everyone else that pitches in, me nan and me pa, my uncle Mick, and just everyone else that helps out.
Yeah, nice. No, that's good. It sounds like you've got a good team behind you and also a good family. It's good that when family help out. But no, hey, look, best of luck this weekend at Warrnambool there at Premier. Go and get the W, man. Stand on that top plate. But thanks very much for joining us. And for everyone else, there he is, Nick Ryan, driving the the VX or V7?
V7.
V7. He's smart enough. He doesn't need the X. That's Nick Ryan there. But thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.